Welcome to BS with White Eagle Y, live from wherever the chaos takes us. I'm your host, Rob. Every episode is a wild ride through whatever's on our minds: pop culture, music, gaming, random life stuff, and all the madness in between. We're live, unfiltered, probably saying something we'll regret later. Always Reggie. But that's half the fun. So grab a drink, buckle up, and get ready to BS your way through the stream with us. And speaking of grab a drink, I recently acquired a sponsor, W. And energy drink with no crash, no jitters. Look them up. You can find a code to save you 10% in my description. So tonight we have our guest, Crimson Red, and we have Reggie Beats.
Yeah, clap it up. Make it clap, bitch.
So tell you a little about Crimson Red. He was born and raised in Reading, Pennsylvania. Developed a passion for diverse music genres, initially influenced by heavy metal and rock. So, and I'm not going to give it away about the music that you followed growing up, so because that's one of the things we were talking about behind the scenes. But what first got you into the music?
I'd say overall, music wise, was definitely my dad. He listened to Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin. That was like his
Oh,
main
hell
two.
yeah.
Yeah, and I really grew up with Breaking Benjamin. Like to this day, I know I listen to a lot more hip hop, and I do a lot more hip hop. But Breaking Benjamin, from time to time, I'll go back to that and be like, this shit is classic. Yes. So, he definitely brought me up when it came to like the heavy metal, the rock. My mom and my best friend Edwin really brought me in when it came to like R&B and hip hop, and that's really when I started getting more into hip hop. Like my mom, for example, she listened to Beyonce, Alicia Keys on the R&B side, and my best friend was really into like the 80s, 90s, like Tupac, Biggie, LL Cool J, stuff like
I
that.
like some
So
Biggie.
yeah, I mean that's another opinion for another time. But I think Biggie might be the best. But
Hey,
uh, but yeah,
ability, flow, all that shit.
oh yeah. One night I just started like cruising in my car, and I just had Biggie the whole time. I was like, see, this is cruising music right here. It's perfect.
Facts.
Hell yeah. Hell, I'll be at work jamming Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
But so you probably that's most of your biggest musical influences right there. So, um, was there a specific moment when you realized, hey man, I want to do this for real? You
Um.
know,
So like I'm 26 right now. And I'd say since I was like 12, I was like, I want to do music, right? But there was never really a time where it was like, okay, I don't know how to get into it, stuff like that. So I did YouTube gaming for like my whole life, basically. And my one friend, Danny, he basically was just like, he kept trying to get me into music. He's like, come on, man, just like get on this song, get on this song. So I was like, maybe one day, maybe one day. And eventually he sent me a beat and he was like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's like, all right, cool. You got 24 hours, and send me something back. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So so he locked me in, and yeah, I owe a big credit to him, because like I owe a huge credit to like I said, my mom, my dad, for like the genres that put me on. But my boy Danny really like kicked me into high gear and was like, all right, man, you've wanted to do this for so long. And I think for me, it was just one of those things where it's like, man, I'm scared, like how it's gonna work. What am I gonna sound like? How's it gonna? But I would say, like, to advice wise, just jump in on it. Just do it. You never know. So that was definitely the time, and that was like 3 years ago. And now I'm here.
Damn,
nice.
shout out to Danny.
Yeah, shout out Dan.
That's what real friends do. They're like, man, come
Yeah.
on, bro. I know you can do
Put
this
you to the
shit.
test.
Yeah, he's like, stop fucking around.
Yeah, get your ass in there and sing a little
That's
something.
what I got to deal with Reggie all the time.
Damn, that's crazy. It's because I'm old and washed, man. I'm fucking tired.
I just don't sing for. I don't sing for him though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. But do you freestyle at all?
From time to time, when I was a kid, me and my friends, we would actually do it a lot at the basketball court and whatnot. Like after we were done playing basketball, um, I would say, do I do it a lot more now? Not really, not as much as I should. Um, but like from time to time, if especially if I'm just kind of sitting there and like I think that's my easiest way to like create music too is like I'll listen to a beat first, and if I connect with it, then like we're good for the whole time.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
be able to catch a vibe. The freestyling culture is pretty big where we from in Louisiana and Texas and shit. Everybody was always freestyling or pretending to freestyle.
Yeah. I don't know if you would call it pretending, but I could tell you every time somebody drank a 12 pack, dude, they
Yeah.
thought they were like Eminem or something.
Yeah, a great rapper. I'm the best, bro. Like, no, you're the drunkest.
Yeah. Yeah. You're even slurring your words, dude.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you know, there's a diamond in the rough. Somebody can actually sing. Somebody can actually rap.
oh yeah, no, like that, I think that's one of the biggest things too. Is like they like credit where credit is due for a lot of people, and like even for me, like I know I make a lot of hip hop, I do a lot of R&B and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like when people ask me like, "Oh, what do you do and who are you?" I'm definitely an artist. You know, at the end of the day, I just create art vocally, and have a good time while doing it.
That's
Hey, that's what
awesome.
it's all about. All about. Have fun doing it.
Damn straight.
So, speaking of having fun doing it, and not what you're thinking, Reggie.
Doing it well.
So, you want to play one of your songs?
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen. You let us know which one you want to play.
Honestly, I would say we'll do like a melodic one first. We'll do Dream, honestly. I'd say like that one. That one's probably like the most popular one like right now from what I've seen everywhere.
Hell yeah! I listen to them all, so I've listened to every one of these songs several times going to work just so I know the music.
Oh, bet. Yo, thank you.
I was just like, damn, why haven't I heard this before?
Volume good?
No, it's I can't hear
Yeah, I
it.
can't hear it.
Let's see.
I was like, you had a great idea, but I can't hear it.
Okay. Technical difficulties
Hey,
already.
We
like that
believe it
sometimes.
sounds good.
Yeah. I'm
All right.
sure, you know what, the cover art's cool, so it's got to sound good.
Yeah,
All right, now.
there we go.
This a ride. This a ride. Hey, yo, Murray. Now this shit don't feel real when you're next to me. This a whole nother high, just like ecstasy. Said I never fall in love, but you tested me. You were meant to be here. Now this shit don't feel real when you're next to me. This a whole nother high, just like ecstasy. Said I never fall in love, but you tested me. You were meant to be here. Yeah, calling, stalling. I am all yours. I'm falling. What you mean to me? You're the missing piece. You're my one and only. Was a mystery. Baby, keep that energy. I feel like you're into me. Have you been around the world? We could see the 7 seas. Lovers and the enemies. What is it you see in me? Yes, we're gonna beat the odds. I'ma change my destiny. And I trying to find a one for my life. And I tried, where have you been all my life? Now this shit don't feel real when you're next to me. This a whole nother high, just like ecstasy. Said I never fall in love, but you tested me. You were meant to be.
That's a banger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must be dreaming. I must be dreaming. Can't be real. This can't be real. If it's a dream, I don't wanna wake up. Yeah. If it's a dream, I don't wanna wake up. Wake up.
What's up?
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
Definitely melodic.
Yeah, that was like my melodic era. That was like last December.
Super catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend for that one.
She was like, "No, do it like this." Like, whoa, you're the producer now, ma'am. Like, chill out.
Hey, nah, she actually, me and her, we most of the time when I'm doing music and stuff like that, she's with me. Because I think one thing that helps is I'm in the artist headspace, and I'm like, well, this needs to sound like that because that's how it sounds good. And she's like, yeah, but in the consumer aspect, it might sound
Yeah,
good this way.
right.
And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. I was like, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like she kind of opened outside the box because in my headspace it's all about like, oh, perfection, this is how it should sound musically, and then she's over here like, yeah, but in a consumer sense this is how it might sound better. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's right, like that's pretty good.
It's good to have that other point of view because a lot of people end up not even dropping their music because they're so worried about making every little thing perfect. And
Oh yeah.
I got to impress these other rappers or these other beat makers or whatever. So they end up never dropping the project at all to begin
Right.
with. So it, at least it keeps you moving forward in that direction.
It's
And
like
what?
it's like I got some straight fire. It's like, oh cool, where can I hear it? My hard drive. It's like,
Yeah.
That's like some of them you talk to, and like they did. They didn't want to drop something that they created because they thought it wasn't going to make it, wasn't worthy. But then when they dropped it, this thing became a hit
yep.
and surpassed all the ones that they already like uploaded. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't hold back if I were you, Crimson.
Oh yeah, no, like that's one of the biggest things is like there's really no definition of like a hit. You never know what's gonna be, the song or the top 100 or whatever. You never know until you drop it, until you kind of take that chance. So yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
always I always recommend it's like it doesn't matter if you. There's been so many songs that I dropped that I'm just like, it's probably not gonna do that well, and then it does, and I'm like, okay, well, shit, my bad.
Here, now, that's the part that counts is you're like, oh, damn, surprise.
Oh, it's a good surprise, yeah.
Yeah. Take that kind of surprise over any other bullshit.
Facts.
So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Um, Honestly, if I had to base it off what my younger self, where he wanted to see me, I think I passed his expectations. So it's like seeing myself in 5 years, it's like I don't know if I have like a specific like, oh, this is where I'm going to be, but it's just honestly keep growing the sound, keep growing, trying to reach more people that mess with my music and stuff like that. Um, I think one of the biggest things that, a lot of people said they're like, do you really want to be famous or do you really just want to like connect with people and like genuinely have like that connection with your music and whatnot? And I was like, yeah, I was like, I really want that connection, and to be with other artists, be with other stuff. Because like one of the biggest things I always tell people, people always be like, "Oh, I can't wait to be famous. I can't wait to be rich." It's like just enjoy the journey. You're only gonna live this once, right? And like the show that I did with Zach, for example, it's like if I basically did a time skip, it's like I wouldn't have enjoyed that moment. or any show leading
Right.
up or anything like that. So for right now, it's like I'm enjoying every day, but I'm gonna keep grinding to make sure that I see myself in that 5 years, every single year leading up to it, that I grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think making that connection is super important. We
Oh
see
yeah.
people who aren't famous, but they're doing pretty well for themselves because they've made a connection of some sort, and they're able to sell the merch. They're able to sell enough tickets to keep doing the shows.
Thousands
Uh,
of followers.
yeah, type of
Yeah.
stuff. So I think that's pretty dope that that's your thought process. Because yeah, we watched the show with you and Zach, and it looked like y'all were having a good time.
Oh yeah. No, that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of people kept asking me, they're like, "Are you nervous?" And leading up to it, I kept saying like, "No, no, no." But I've never done a show that big. There was like 300 people, and I was like, "Damn, I never did a show this big." But it's basically getting in that headspace of being like, just be myself, have a good time with it, and just have fun with it. And that's what I did. And yeah, no, afterwards, me and Zach were just like, "Oh, we killed it. We had such a good time." And one thing that he told me that at first I was just kind of like, "Yeah, we'll see," but it's true, is when he told me, he's like, after the show is said and done, you're gonna go home and you're gonna be like, "Damn, that was such a good feeling." And I'm gonna think about that for a long time. And like, it's been almost over a month now, and there's still times where I think back to like certain points, and I'm like, man, that was so good. That was so much fun. And especially just like watching, I even watched like my own video, for example, and I'm like, damn, that was so cool. Like that was so fun. So, so
That's
yeah, he
Yeah.
was right.
crazy.
He was right.
Yeah. Y'all
Yeah.
definitely look like y'all had fun for
Oh yeah.
sure.
Yeah, shout out to the DJ. He did a really good job too. DJ 5K Watts, or DJ Watts 5K. Because like number one, he really brought that energy, and like I'm not trying to like or like say anything about any other artist, but like he was matching everybody's energy. So like if an artist was
Yeah.
kind of just like he was just gonna match that,
Right.
but he really matched our energy. And even after the show, he was like, "Yo," he's like, "Y'all had the best set." He's like, "You guys killed it out there. You guys had crazy energy. It was so enjoyable." And I was like,
Hey,
"Thank you."
that's the people the consumer comes back to see. You know what I mean? The people that give it 100% and actually give a fuck about the end product.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell other artists all the time, I'm like, "Hey, it doesn't matter if you got one person there. It could be your mom, it could be a friend, it could be your dog. It doesn't matter. Go out there and show as if it was like, this was your last time performing." I was like,
I just
because
want
that's
to,
when you'll have the most fun.
hell yeah. But I'd also like to add for the record that my mom better be in the crowd.
Yeah, right.
So now, do you have any crazy stories or crazy shows or the studio stories that you could share with us?
Um, I would say stories when it comes to show. Um, Basically seeing Dave East up close and personal was pretty dope, because that was
Hell
basically like the
yeah.
whole thing. We were opening for Dave East, and the whole thing was he was in the building, but his own DJ. Now I don't know how you do this, but his own DJ didn't have his tracks. So basically, they
Oh,
were hiding him somewhere. They basically hiding him in the back, away from everybody, until like everything was ready. And like we were super close, and I was like, "Damn, this is pretty dope!" Like to see Dave East and stuff like that. Um, so that was kind of like a surreal moment as well, where again on the whole idea of like growing and stuff like that, it's like, damn, like we opened for Dave East. So I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. Um, studio stories. I do have one, and me and the guy ain't friends anymore. And that was his choice. But basically, he invited me to the studio. Now, where he was at, it's like an hour away. So, drove an hour, got there, and he basically was like, "Yeah, so like none of my stuff is working. so sorry. And I'm just kind of like, really? Like,
Damn. Hell no.
That's fucked up.
because like
Yeah.
most of the time I have like my own little in-home studio, aka my computer and my microphone and stuff like that. And like I usually, send verses back and forth and whatnot. But this was actually the first time I went to a studio, and I'm just kind of like, well, this sucks. Like,
Could have stayed home for this shit.
thanks.
That was going to be one of my questions. So are you mostly recording at home then? Got the
Yeah.
home lab set up?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a Shure SM7B. I
Of
have
course.
a Focusrite i2 I think it's called. And then I use FL Studios for everything.
Yeah, FL gang.
Oh my God, it's so good.
You do your own mixing or do you send it out to get mixed?
So I used to do it where I used to send it out, and I had this one guy that worked for Interscope, and he would just charge $100 for a mix, and I was just kind of like, all right, cool. And after a while, I was like, damn, $100, this can go towards beats or promotion or whatever. So I basically took a whole week, and my best friend, who also uses FL and he produces and whatnot, he basically taught me, everything through FL, went on YouTube, learned FL and stuff like that. And gradually over time, I started mixing my own stuff. And
Okay.
even like now, I'm starting to get into like the producing and like the beat making aspect of it. Um, just because like not only does it save money and stuff like that, and you can use that towards other things, but also too, it just feels more personal, like you know how you want to sound mix wise and vocal wise, but you also know what kind of beats you like and also how you can, flow on different beats and stuff like that. So I'd say
Hell
more
yeah.
than ever, like especially on my new album coming out, a couple of the beats are made by me and everything's produced like vocally and mixed by me. So it's probably like my most personal album, not only in like material wise, but also just like I was so hands on with it throughout the whole project. And that made me feel like it kind of makes it feel more personal to me. Like it's actually my project, my songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's dope to
Yeah.
be and it's just like the regular consumer, you end up more connected to the product and then I think that helps connect more with the regular Joe Schmo, the regular person who
Oh, no
might
doubt.
stumble on it on Spotify.
Yeah.
If people are able to look into like, oh, what's the background of Crimson Red? Like, oh, he's hunched over in the lab cooking this shit up all day. Like that goes a lot further than just some regular kid who stumbled up on a record deal or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things too, since you brought up like record deals and whatnot. I would love to be independent full time because like I know a lot of the record deals they can do like some crazy deals and whatnot. And I think one of the biggest things is they're like, hey, here's millions of dollars. And then a lot of people think, oh, cool, now I'm a millionaire. But it's basically just like a big loan that they want to lock you into. So,
Yeah, read the fine print.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
hold your
say,
ankles.
right, if it ever gets to that point, I'm lawyering up. They're like, "Hey, we got a deal for you." It's like, "Yeah, here's my guy. He's gonna read it with me."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, say if you wasn't doing music, what what would you be doing right now? Like, was there other interest or other things that you were doing before music came about, or were you just
So,
always into the music?
I played basketball a lot. And around like the seventh grade, I messed up my knee pretty bad. So that basically like, when it comes to sports and stuff like that, once you get injured, it's like, that's
Yeah.
it. So I had to live with that. But I used to do YouTube and do like gaming a lot and stuff like that. And I think I did that for 10 years. And it was a lot of fun because, I was in high school at the time, growing up with friends. That's basically all we did. And then everybody grew up, everybody started, doing their own thing and whatnot. And I started to realize I was like, I really don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not having fun with it. And that's when music came around because I was just kind of like, I've been wanting to do music way longer than I wanted to do, YouTube and stuff like that. It's just I never had the confidence or really, again, that push to, do it and whatnot. And I think that was like the hardest change was like basically also telling everybody like on my channel, like, hey, I know you guys watch me for gaming and whatnot, but I'm switching over to music. And a lot of people are just like, all right, I think,
They're like, whatever, dude.
yeah, they're like, and I lost like, I think over 1,000 subs, like the as soon as like I started putting out music and whatnot. But a lot of people that stayed, they're like, yo, we're staying for you, like no matter what
Yeah.
you do. And but that also kind of put on some pressure just to be like, well, okay, thank you guys for staying. Hopefully you guys think my music is good, and hopefully it doesn't suck. But yeah, with that, I was just kind of like, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? At least I know I'm doing something that I enjoy. And the people that stayed for me, they stayed for me. They stayed for the music. And yeah. So honestly, to answer your main question, I don't really know. Like besides music right now, I might still be doing YouTube, but I wouldn't be enjoying it. And that was one of my biggest things. It's like you only live one life. Like why spend your whole life doing something that you don't want to do? So that's when I was like, you know what? No,
Exactly.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be. At the end of the day, I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, were you considering yourself successful already with the YouTube, or how are you feeling about the YouTube when the music came around?
It's funny because like it kind of goes back to the whole idea of the whole like where do you see yourself in 5 years and like defining success and like defining like all that kind of stuff. Because for me, it's like I always want to keep growing and always want to keep going. So like when I did gaming and I did YouTube, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're famous now," and it's like, no, but thank you, like I appreciate that. Um,
But
and
donate
even
here.
right. But even now, when it comes to like music and stuff like that, like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you got a lot of eyes on you," and well, especially after the Dave East show and stuff like that, like a lot of people are just like starting to take me serious and like seeing that and whatnot. But I feel like I watched the J. Cole documentary. He's honestly, I would say like he's one of my biggest inspirations is J. Cole. And I watched a
Oh, dope.
documentary from him, and he was just like, he basically said, he's like, once you get complacent and once you get comfortable, that's when, you start to feel like shit and you kind of go down. So like for me, I could be, having a million followers, but it's like, all right, we're not done yet. Like there's never going to be an end goal until I realize where I'm like, you know what, I can't do it anymore. Like music wise, I can't do it anymore. Or I know, like, I feel comfortable or I feel like achieved, I guess you could say. So for me, it's like, I'm going to keep going, no matter what.
That's always good to hear. You recognize when people have some sort of hunger, some sort of drive, and it comes out in the end product.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. So, with that being said, man, let's put on another tune.
Bet. I would say, honestly, to do like a complete 180, let's just play Big Deal.
All right.
Yeah, Big Deal was the first song I heard.
Yep.
The cover art is fire.
Yo, shout out to my girl. She made that. She made that too.
Yeah, oh, damn, she a keeper.
Yeah.
Nah, she does the most.
That's what's up.
Just in case you forgot. Just in case you forgot. I'm a pretty big deal. Ice on my wrist, cause you know the boy chill. I'm a pretty big deal. Say you got talent, but can't match my skill. I'm a pretty big deal. Ice on my wrist, cause you know the boy chill. I'm a pretty big deal. Say you got talent, but can't match my skill. Say my music hot, then I must have found my pocket. That's right. Little bro, you need to stop. Wouldn't get the numbers if I didn't hop up on it. Talk about growth, but your views microscopic. Start to realize that these motherfuckers use me. Treat you like some hoes, I'ma start to get choosy. Dancing on your grave, I'm about to get groovy. Lyrics like J. Cole, flow is like Uzi. Why would I stop when I'm on top? I'm putting that shit on a lot. Go, letting it rock, I never go stop. We waiting on you to drop. Whoa, racing the clock, we doing a lot. We never forget the plot. Damn, taking a shot, I feel like I'm out. I'm never gonna give it the spot. Damn right. I'm a pretty big deal. Ice on my wrist, cause you know the boy chill. I'm a pretty big deal. Say you got talent, but can't match my skill. Damn. I'm a pretty big deal. Ice on my wrist, cause you know the boy chill. I'm a pretty big deal. Say you got talent, but can't match my skill. Damn. I'm a pretty big deal. I'm a pretty big deal. Just in case you forgot. I'm a pretty big deal.
Dude, that's a motherfucking banger right there. You was locked in on that shit. The flow like water.
So you gotta let us know, man. What influenced you to write Big Deal?
Honestly, a couple of things. I forget who I was talking to, but basically they were just like, they're like, Crimson, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. They're like, you don't really have like a lot of like punch the subwoofer type of like songs. And I was just kind of like, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I've been thinking about that for like a year. Um, but honestly, it also comes down to just like having that like kind of I guess everybody like has their ego and stuff like that. But and I think really you need to have one when it comes to music. Like having that humble and ego kind of like in between to be like, yeah, my music is good. But also to have like feedback and stuff like that, like I said, when my girl kind of talks to me about my music and whatnot. Um, I guess the best way to kind of explain it though is like it kind of makes more sense like in the aspect of like the album, like all together and whatnot, because it's basically like a two-parter, more on like the ego side on the first half, second half is kind of like a humble. So the reason I chose that one as like the um like as the open, like the rollout single, for example, was yeah, because it was just like I'm like, nah, this one kicks. I'm like this one's a banger. I was like, so
That shit definitely bumps on my subwoofers. You know what I mean?
yeah. Nah, I got nice ones in my car, and like I always try and make sure that I do like tests before I upload the song. So like I got like this little like Beats pill, I got my computer speakers, all that kind of stuff. And then I went into the car and I'm just kind of driving and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, damn, okay. I was like, this is gonna kick. This is gonna be nice.
Slapping.
Yep.
But again, that's a testament, like I was saying, having that good sound quality carries it a lot further than some other people might get in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that like and that's another thing too. It's like again, striving for the perfection, but also again, humbly realizing it's like, yo, nothing's perfect. No song's perfect, no person is perfect. So it's like making it to the best of your ability, um, that like you can enjoy it and be happy with the end product. And basically every song that I make that I either have out or I'm gonna have out, I'm happy with how it came out.
Dope, dope. Well, that's a slapper for sure. Like I said, and it was impressive as a change because some of the other songs that I listened to weren't on that type of vibe. But to have it jump out like that and be, oh shit, this is the one. You know what I mean? That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what like my biggest thing is like diversity as well when it comes to like songs and all that kind of stuff. And like again, that's why I say like when it comes to me, when people ask me like, what type of genre and stuff like that, like I'll say I was like, hip hop, R&B. I was like, but I'm an artist at the end of the day. So like if anybody gives me any type of beat or they're just like, oh, can you try and get on this? I'll be like, yeah. I'm always gonna take that challenge no matter what. Um and yeah, no, I was testing the waters with Big Deal, seeing how people liked it and stuff like that. And, you know, it's been nothing but positive feedback. So I can appreciate that. So that's how I know, like, when I drop the album, for example, I'm really excited for that to come out too and, see how everybody's going to react to it.
When
Word.
is that? When are you planning for that album to come out?
So there's no date yet. I do have a date, but I'm thinking, like, it's definitely going to be in the summertime, but probably August around.
Okay, you have more
Uh,
singles in the chamber to unleash on the public.
I was thinking about it, but I think I'm gonna leave Big Deal. So basically, like Fantasy and Big Deal are the two rollout singles, which that was another thing too to kind of get people used to like Fantasy is like heavy R&B, Big Deal is
Yeah.
heavy hip hop. So it kind of gets people into the mindset of, oh, maybe his album's gonna be more like this, but then I drop Big Deal and they're like, well, shit, maybe it'll be more like this. It's a combination of both. Like they're gonna have both styles. Um, so I think after Big Deal, I'm just gonna let the album drop. I think I let a lot of people know where they're like, all right, cool. He's gonna have his melodic bag, he's gonna have his hip hop bag, and then when the album drops, I got 18 songs on it, so definitely people
Oh
are gonna
wow.
be, yeah, people
heck
people
yeah.
are people are gonna be fed basically.
Okay. Now, are you just making content around those two singles?
Yeah, I've made a lot of content around those two. But right now, I actually performed Push Up from the show with me and Zach. And that one so far has been getting like the most kind of like feedback in like positive wise where people are like, yo, like this one's good, this one's really good. So I've been promoting that one a lot to be like, yeah,
Okay.
this song's not out yet, but it's gonna be in the album. And there's even like a couple YouTube videos of people either like screen recording or whatever they do of like the show just from push up and then posting it onto YouTube and stuff like that. And
Okay,
they'll
that's
be
sick.
yeah, so I would say a lot of people are definitely looking for that, like looking forward to that one.
I could tell you, man, 18 songs. Yeah, you've been hustling
Yeah, and
for
yeah,
this
because
for this one.
2 years, 2 years overall, been working on it.
Yeah, and having more than one single, like I think speaks volumes for work ethic and a focus on the end product. Again, I know I keep bringing it up, but that's what always sticks in my mind is like, did they give a shit? Or did they just do this one club banger and then I'm supposed to just enjoy the rest of whatever the fuck this is?
Right.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah, and like
I'm excited to hear the final product since everything's been solid so far.
thank
Yeah,
you.
now he's gonna have me waiting, man. Be like, come on, August. But what's your recording process like? So I mean, 18 albums. Your How would you say your process is?
Honestly, like when it comes to singles, I would definitely say like it's a lot simpler because singles are basically how I would say is like my experimental period. So it's like if a single doesn't do well or everybody, it does well or it doesn't, it's basically like a nice little feedback test. And then the album is basically who I am and what everybody enjoyed. Um, so yeah, I try and be more experimental when it comes to singles, and usually it comes down to a beat that I hear, either if I make one or if I find one or someone sends me one. I could just tell. Like I don't really know how to explain it, and I think it's a good thing. Where people or like, well, how'd you know like this was good, or how'd you know this? And it's just like it's just a feeling, It's one of those things where you hear it and you connect with it, and from start to finish, I just work on the song, and then I'm just like, I get to the end, and I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, this is good. And so yeah, it's usually just a feeling, really, that I just understand where I'm like, yeah, this is good. Like I want to work with this. Um, so I get that way when it comes to like singles, and I would say when it comes to albums, that was like the hardest thing because, like I said, I'm just gonna the album is called R for L. So it's like I've been working on that for 2 years, and there's been songs that were in and there's songs that were out, and I want it here, but now it's in here. So I think that was the hardest part because since now I'm producing, mixing, making some of the beats and stuff like that, it was my most personal album, so I think I was making it you know probably the longest period. Again, 2 years is a pretty long time for an album, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm happy with how it came out, and it's really personal for me. And yeah, like I'm at the end of the day, I'm just happy with how it came together.
That's what matters, man. It
Damn
matters
right.
about what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's your music.
Yeah, yeah. But uh, would you say that your environment or community plays a role in shaping, your music?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Like I said, growing up and stuff like that with a couple of my friends that do freestyling and stuff like that, like, that helped me with my like skills and stuff like that. Even my best friend, like we went to school together, and if it wasn't for him, like, who knows what I'd be listening to now? Who knows what I'd be doing right now? Um, and there's a lot of people too around my area that like we grew up together and stuff like that. And, I thought we just kind of like drifted apart, but they DM me from time to time and be like, hey, like keep doing your shit. You're killing it in music. You're like you're a local legend around here. And I'm just like, damn, like that kind of stuff like makes me be like, damn, like yeah, like everybody's like watching, everybody's listening, stuff like that. So that makes me feel good because I know that I'm making them proud, for example.
For those of you that's just tuning in, this is Crimson Red, and I seen some comments. Yeah, definitely go and check his music out, man. He's got some bangers. So, and he's going to be throwing out an album come August. That's your time frame. Um, he's going to have that thing's going to be loaded, 18 songs. So, you know,
Loaded
make sure to
like
watch.
a fucking baked
Look out for
potato.
it. Loaded baked
Now,
potato.
what part of the state are you in?
I'm in Reading, so that's kind of I would say like more known areas around it is like Lancaster and Allentown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you grew up around there and just been around that area?
Yeah, I've lived here. I've lived here my whole life. I did move out to Lancaster a little while ago with my ex. And then I moved back because we broke up and stuff like that. But yeah, this has been my hometown like the whole time.
Okay, word, word. So you've had consistent influence from the same type of people in your life, um, keeping you motivated or just introducing you to other type of music and stuff like that then?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and
Word.
like the one thing that you said too is like, influencing and like stuff like that. And like yeah, there's been a lot of big influences around me and like positive affirmations and like basically just people like pushing me. But there's also been a lot of like negativity, but you kind of use that negativity to keep yourself pushing. So I think that's another big thing too is I'm kind of glad that I get both, because if everybody was just kind of like being like, oh, this is great and oh, all that kind of stuff, it's kind of like, okay, but how can I improve? How can I do better and stuff like that? So that's why it's like the circle that I have, it is very small, but I know that they're going to be honest with me, and that's really all I want. You know, I don't want yes men. I don't want haters. I want that positive, like, that feedback. At the end of the day, where it's like, hey, you did this great. You should try this next time. And I'm like, cool. That's how I'm gonna keep growing and improving and stuff like that.
Oh, word. And if they don't hate, you're not doing it great.
Damn right.
So, gotta have a little bit of little hate and cheese sprinkled in there, hate and cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
And
like
that
I said,
is Pennsylvania, by the way, guys,
yeah,
in the comments.
yeah, like I said, the one guy with the studio and stuff like that. After the show that me and Zach did, there was a couple people that blocked me, unfollowed me, and stuff like that because I started posting and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
you know,
They're like,
from
oh
the
shit, he's really doing it. Fuck him.
damn right.
Fuck him and his happiness.
How dare he be happy?
Yeah, how dare
That
shit
son
work
of a
out
bitch.
for him?
Is that
Yeah.
a smile? Oh, unfollow.
Fuck that. I want to frown, bitch.
I want him depressed.
Dude, some people cannot take others being successful. Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's
They do not
crazy.
like to see other people happy.
Nah, and
Yeah.
it's such a waste of time too because it's like you're taking so much of your time and your energy hating someone else when you could take that time and energy and really work on yourself. So then when you see where the other people are at, it's like, oh man, if I wanna strive for that. Let me instead of hate, really work on that so I can be with them, you know? I don't know.
I don't
For
know.
sure.
You would think it'd be easier just to like, oh shit, maybe I should try to jump on the train. Then pride or something gets in the way. They're like, nah, fuck that. Fuck him. Walk around here happy and shit.
I don't know exactly what the saying is, but it's basically like if it's easy to do it, then it might not be worth it. So it's like hating is so easy to do, but working on
Yeah.
yourself and grinding, that's where it's tough, you know? So for a lot of people, they're like, I'm gonna just take the easy way out and just shit on somebody else, you know?
Hell yeah. So, do you think today's rap scene is it missing something, or does it need more of something that you think of?
Um, I'll be honest, I think it's at a healthier spot now. I know that like I want to say around 2020 to like 2022, it was super stagnant.
Yeah.
And then especially after the whole like Kendrick and Drake thing, I think that really brought a lot of eyes. And then especially with him performing at the Super Bowl, it brought even more eyes and stuff like that. Um, but surprisingly, like I listen to everything. Like even to the aspect of like what people would call like mumble rappers or like the ones where it sounds like they're having like a computer virus as their song. It's like I listen to everything just to kind of, hear where it's like, all right, what's really popping now? And like what are people listening to? And, kind of like dissecting. It's like, why are they listening to this? And even if it's not like, I'm someone that at the end of the day, if EDM, for example, is the most popular genre, I'm not gonna jump ship to do EDM. I'm gonna keep doing me. But, kind of take some kind of lessons and learning different songs and stuff like that and be like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And that sounds good to me. I'm gonna turn it into my own way.
Hell
Um
yeah.
So yeah, if
Hell
anything,
yeah.
I'd say like hip hop right now and just music as a whole, pretty healthy. Especially like I said, 2020 to 2022, I was like, it was at a weird decline, and even for me, I'm like, damn, everything that's coming out just it ain't it, but it's a lot better now.
So I know you said you produce a lot of your stuff.
Mm.
Is there one producer that you'd kill to work with?
Molly Raw,
Gotcha.
um, he's also from Philly as well. I'd probably say Molly Raw. Pharrell would be a cool one to be with.
Oh, hell
Um,
yeah.
I'm trying to think
Hey,
who else.
seen
God, there's so many.
seen Reggie, his eyes light up.
Bro, Pharrell is crazy. Pharrell and Chad like changed the game. So it's always interesting to see like the generational gaps of people who maybe didn't understand what was happening when those type of things were going on, or but then people come around and discover the music later.
Yeah.
It's always pretty interesting to me. So
I watched a video recently, and it's crazy how many tracks Pharrell has produced that I didn't even know at the time. And it's like pop songs, hip hop, you
yeah,
name it. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. Um, I'd say probably another controversial one, just because of everything that's going on. If we could dial back the time clock to like 10 years, I would say Kanye, but I don't want to step
okay.
anywhere near Kanye right now. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah,
But
Kanye,
you can't take graduation away from them.
right. Like if we're taking the art from the artist,
Yeah,
Kanye probably best producer out there. I'll put
yeah,
that down. Um, what who he is as a person, it's like, what, he's doing him, whatever, but when it comes to the beats and stuff like that, and yeah, like you said, graduation and like everything that he's made, music wise, like he would also be like another like really good producer to work with. It's just he's going through some shit, so
yeah.
you know.
But it's like
Hey,
I
we all
remember the normal him. So like I was 18 when College Dropout came out. And I was dropping out of college. Like I played that shit for a year straight. Didn't put nothing else in. Like I could never take that away from him, even if he is doing whatever he's doing now.
Oh yeah, like there's so many artists that like I'll listen to and stuff like that. And a lot of people will come up to me and be like, I can't believe you still listen to it and stuff like that. It's like, I'm here for the art at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day too, it's not like we know these people personally. And especially like in the beginning of like around like the 90s and 2000s before the internet and stuff like that, it was really hard to kind of get to know who the artists are. Nowadays, you can find out basically anything about anybody. Um, but yeah, for me at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I'm not really somebody that connects with like every artist's like personal life. There's a select few. So it's like at the end of the day, like if I listen to a song and then somebody goes, "Oh, did you hear what happened with this?" I'm like, I listen to the music at the end of the day.
hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hey,
We got a
Crimson.
question from
Yep,
the live audience.
Oh,
yep. This is for you, Crimson. How old are you? And how long have you been doing this shit, bro?
so 26. I'm about to be 27 in 2 months. Um, and I've been doing this shit since 2022. That was the first time that I put out. I'd say 3 years from the first time that I put something out. But in the background, like I said, I've been wanting to do music since I was like 12. So, I've always had that passion. I've always done like little things like choir or like, I'd record something and be like, nah, this is terrible. Never putting that out. Um, but yeah, I'd say like really gung ho, really like, serious about it for about 3 years.
So, sounds like we have you have a new fan, up and coming fan.
Yeah,
So, do you want to play a song for them while they're on here?
yeah, yeah. Shit, what's that? You know what? We'll play. If you want to play "Jump In," um, fun fact about that song was actually never supposed to come out because I thought it was like,
Oh
eh.
damn.
Uh,
But a lot of
proved
people
you
are just
wrong,
like,
dude.
yeah, a lot of people now when they're like, oh, I always ask people, I'm like, what's your favorite song? They're like, oh, that Jump In song is really good. And I'm like, really? But I'm like, hey, if you enjoy it, then I appreciate it.
No, was that one of the ones your girl said put that shit out?
Yep, yep, yes, it was. Yeah, I
Shout out to
remember.
her.
I remember it was one night, and I was like, yeah, I made a song last night. Because usually that's when I'd say like I'm a night owl when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like I'll make songs at night. I send it to her at night, and then she wakes up and hears them in the morning. I was like, yeah, I made this song. Like I don't know how to feel about it and stuff like that. And she's like, this is amazing. You should, when are you gonna put it out? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I didn't even think about putting it out. So yeah, no. So
Right.
like that's what I mean. She has a good ear as well. So she doesn't do anything music wise, but she has a good ear. And like I said, as a aspect of like a fan and like a consumer, her ears are perfect for that.
Hey, everybody needs an A&R.
Damn
So
right.
yeah, yeah. I have critiquers after every podcast, dude. I take the good and the bad, you
You
know,
gotta.
and I make each one better. You know what I'm
Facts.
Because fuck them, that's why.
saying? So we're gonna go ahead and play jump in. They calling you out here. Let's see what you got. That's what.
This is a banger too, though.
We have a couple questions after this too
Is that
that are
right?
popping up.
Is that right? Always wanted this type of shit since I was a kid. Yeah, I wanted to win. Yeah, I wanted to win. Making music for the masses and now they tuning in. 20 on the beat. 1, 2, 3, let's If you jump inside the water, would you know just how to swim? Yeah. Day one with my homies, yeah, you know we gonna win. No more taking back that bullshit, bro. You burning out that bridge, and I'm doing all this music. I'm a player for my kids. Whoa. And I know, even in the water, yeah, you know that I float. And I'll glow. Even in the dark, yeah, you know the light shows. So what did it show me? That I got some homies. Even when I kept that shit connected like it's 5G. But I guess they didn't want to stay connected with me. Yeah, I'm a lover boy, but you won't get no love from me. My boy is like umbrella, cause I know that he gon' cover me. Father, most these rappers, now I know why they look up to me. All my fans supportive, I look at them like they family. And I'll trying to find a way just to make it alright. And the voices we're hearing, pain that we're feeling, promise that I'll make it alright. Always wanted this type of shit since I was a kid. Yeah, I wanted to win. Yeah, I wanted to win. Making music for the masses and now they tuning in. 20 on the beat. 1, 2, 3, let's If you jump inside the water, would you know just how to swim? Yeah. Day one with my homies, yeah, you know we gonna win. No more taking back that bullshit, bro. You burning out that bridge, and I'm doing all this music. I'm a player for my kids. Whoa. And I know, even in the water, yeah, you know that I float. And I'll glow. Even in the dark, yeah, you know the light shows.
B, I'm not gonna lie to you. That one sounds like it came from within.
Yeah, I wanted to win.
Hey, you know it's crazy that beat had like that nostalgic vibe to it.
That
I'll say
one
yeah.
that one sounds like it came from within. You know what I'm saying? Like that was from you.
And thinking about it now, maybe that's why, like, at the time, I thought I was like, maybe it's not gonna be that good because it's more personal, which
Yeah.
sounds crazy now. But I think seeing how well Jump In did and like the perception of it, I think that's what made me feel more comfortable to kind of, you know, like be me and kind of like talk about that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just glad. I'm glad it did come out. I'm glad that I didn't get too much into my head, um, and that it didn't stay on the hard drive.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, make it clap for that.
So while we were playing that, we had some questions
Mhm.
pop in on the live audience. So Mike, you should be able to see this. So Mike asked, whom would you collaborate with if money and time wasn't a factor?
So main two, Lil Uzi Vert, J. Cole. just because
Okay.
You
those
heard that, Mike?
those are honestly my main two inspirations for everything that I make. Like a lot of people, even like my girlfriend and all that stuff, they'll say they're like, "Yo, when you first started music, you could definitely hear like the little Uzi Vert like sound, and then like the J Cole like delivery or like wordplay and stuff like that." So those would definitely be like my main two because I feel like on a more melodic side, me and Uzi would clash really well, and then more on like kind of like with Big Deal or more just like actual rap and lyricism, I would have a lot of fun with J. Cole. And plus two, it would just be fucking awesome to meet them. That's priceless, at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
right. Especially if like you were saying, it's people you've been listening to, people you're heavily influenced by. I mean, that would be an awesome collab.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when it came to like, seeing and meeting Dave East, for example, like during the show and stuff like that, like me and my best friend, he watched Davies 2015 when like MTV was, still huge. And he's like, yeah, this is pretty cool. He's like, you know, I got to see him on TV. We've listened to his music for 10 plus years, and now we're gonna see him in person. You're opening for him, and I got to be backstage with him too. It's like, man, this just seems crazy. Like it just seems unreal, but you know, that's one of the things like nobody can take that away and I'll never forget it. Like that'll always be set in stone.
Hell yeah.
I mean, and who wouldn't want to collab with Uzi and J. Cole? Like, that would be
Damn right.
insane, dude. Automatic platinum record and shit.
Facts.
Cheat code.
Oh, let's see.
Uncle Cracker, that's crazy. Oh,
Oh, what we got here?
okay. Somebody
Hey,
said good
yep,
shit.
yep.
Thank you,
Comments from the
Fly.
live audience.
Yeah, I'm like
Word.
So,
cycling through from like YouTube and Facebook. I'm trying to see the comments too.
Trying to keep
uh,
up with it all and shit.
well, on here and Facebook, they show whatever's on Facebook. So, like, say if they type on Facebook, you'll see it on here.
Oh, like comes on the
So,
screen. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, man. So, how would you say you stay connected with your fans?
Honestly, I would say definitely through socials. I mean, that's kind of like a given.
Yeah,
And
nowadays.
yeah, and like honestly, where most of my support, like I said, is in the area and stuff like that. So I definitely talk to a lot of people just like personally. I have no problem like talking to, people like through DMs and stuff like that. And I think that's like one thing that really me and Zach were talking about this too, where we were like, talking about like engagement and like kind of keeping in touch with a lot of people. And I said, yeah, I was like, I talk to everybody as if, they're my homies and stuff like that. And we just kind of shoot the shit most of the time. Whether it's like, talking about music or it's just talk about life. I'm somebody that just likes to talk. I'm very vocal. I'm very, out there. And so yeah, a lot of times like people that follow me or listen to my music and stuff like that, I'm actually pretty cool with. The one guy recently, his name's Jew the Dude, for example. He um he was just like he was one of my subscribers for like the longest time, and now he makes like slow and reverb versions of my songs and all that kind of stuff, and we just shoot the shit for a lot of time, and I'll tell him like certain stuff about the album and stuff like that because I know he's interested in it. I know he's invested in me, and I appreciate him. And at the end of the day, it's like you might have started as a subscriber, you might have started as a fan or whatever. I was like, but we're friends. I was like, all my fans. Like I said in Jump In, not to be corny, but it's like, all my fans supportive. I look at them like they're family. At the end of the day, that's basically how I look at them. They're my family.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to catch up on our live comments here. You had one. All right. If you could work with any two mainstream artists, who would they be?
All right. Well,
Uh,
I said Uzi and J.
say,
Cole, but I
okay,
can't.
let's see.
If I had to pick different ones, I would say JID is another one as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then after playing that song, we had Mike put this as a metalhead. That was definitely one that turned me more to hip hop and rap.
Fuck yeah. And yo, I relate with Mike. Like I said, I do listen to hip hop and rap more now than I do with like metal and stuff like that. And I won't lie, I do sound like an old head when I say like, oh, nobody does, like guitar solos anymore and stuff like that, because that's just how I grew up. Um, but yeah, no, like I said, I'll go back to Breaking Benjamin in the car. Like I'll be by myself and I'm like, this shit still slaps. I don't care what anyone says.
No, Breaking Benjamin is timeless.
Yeah, you hear me screaming the lyrics to Diary of Jane loud as shit. I don't care.
Shout out to Jane.
Shout out to Jane.
Jane had that man fucked up.
So, what's something you wish more people understood about being a new artist?
I would say honestly, and this is just from like personal experience, basically how I don't want to say lonely it is, but basically like how hard it is to kind of like get other people that kind of relate to you. And also like I would say one of the biggest things is like work ethic at the end of the day. Like a lot of people do it for fun and stuff like that, and that's all fine and well. It's just like someone like me, I want to take it serious. I want to make it, my career. I want to make it something serious. So it's like for me, I'm every single day I'm doing something musically, whether it's a song or something behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I would say it was really hard to find people that felt the same way or that were that committed and dedicated and stuff like that. Because in the beginning, I'd be like, "Hey, let's do a song together," and I wouldn't hear anything for like a month, and I'm like, come on, man, like
Mm.
So, I would say Zach is definitely someone that takes this shit very seriously, and I think another thing too that helps is like we basically bounce off of each other like energy wise, so it's like that also helps so much. So it's not just, I feel energized, I feel like doing stuff, he kind of reciprocates that and it's so awesome. So yeah, there's like I said, like maybe like two handfuls full of people I can name that, kind of have that same energy and that same vibe, but I wouldn't trade 'em for anything in the world. Like I said, it just comes with time.
Now, with how you said like you and Zach collaborate all the time, are you open to collabing with other new people? How are you? Are you looking for other people to collaborate with? Is there a plan there? Or are you just going
Do
with
you need
whoever you
Reggie to
connect
test
with?
you? No.
Honestly, always, 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 always. Like, I think that's another thing too, because a lot of people look at follower counts or streams or anything like that, and they judge that by like somebody's worth or somebody's like quality. But like,
Right.
I give everybody a shot. Like, I worked with someone that didn't even put out a song yet, and basically was just like, oh, I really want to get into music and stuff like that. And for me, that really hit home because that's basically how I got my foot in the door was, my friend was just like, all right, cool, here's a beat, let's go. So, some people just need that push. For other people, it's just, it's like, hey, I like your sound, let's work together. So yeah, for me, I'm open for like features all the time, just because it's like, we never know what kind of magic we're gonna make or what they're gonna like bring out of me. It could be like a beat that I've never heard, a style I've never heard or done, and that also just helps like the creativity. And it's a lot more fun to make music with other artists and stuff like that and bounce back ideas.
Word, that's dope. So the ego hasn't totally consumed you yet.
Yeah. Nah, trust me. And if it ever does, my girl will be right there and be like, "Better get back to that shit."
Get back to it, boy.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's what's
Nah,
up.
she
That's
keeps me in check.
a lot of the newer artists, when you talk to them, are the ego's already there. Like they think they're Master P or whatever. So it's refreshing to hear people like you and Zach talk about being open to work with whoever and staying on the grind to get to where you need to get to, and regardless of the outcome, still just doing it for the art. So,
Oh yeah. No,
uh,
at the end of the day, like some that like my coach told me in basketball, even in the beginning, he was just like, hey, he's like, we're not gonna have a good game. We're not gonna have, a good practice. We're not gonna have any of that stuff unless you're having fun.
yeah,
And that I take that for every aspect of life. It's like, am I having fun with this? Yes, then I'm gonna have a good time. So like anytime that I'm like struggling making a song or something's not sounding right and I get frustrated, I'm taking a walk. And that's usually when like I have like a mental refresh. It clears out the head and stuff like that and I get back to it. But yeah, I'm like I said, you only live once. Why not do stuff that makes you happy? Why not do stuff that's fun to do at the end of the day?
hell yeah.
Well, for sure. And dude, later down the road, you know, we need to come full circle, man, and get you and Zach again back on the podcast, like later down the road, and see what the progression,
Oh hell yeah.
see
No,
how it
that would
growth,
be
man.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, it's always good, man, to talk to people and how they came up and what they went through to get to where they're at now. You know,
hmm
And let this
like
be a
you.
record. We talked to him first before he like blew up and shit. Before he went platinum, like we had him on the podcast. Like,
But like you were saying, it takes say that you accepting that guy to sing with or rap with, right? That was probably his push to start something that he was scared to do, you know.
Right.
And that's like everybody, man. They if it makes you feel uncomfortable, just like you said in the previous statement, go for it because well, you never know. That could be your hit.
Yeah, you never know. You really never know. That's why like so much when I talk about it and stuff like that. I love bringing up the story about Danny and stuff like that because yeah, he was like I said, he was the one that gave me that push and that's, where how I am where I am. I'm able to be on the show, for example, and stuff like that if it wasn't for that. So,
so
I
shout out
think
to Danny.
shout out to Danny
Yep. Yep.
because I think that's another big thing is like yeah, like everybody just needs that somebody, like that push, that inspiration and whatnot. So yeah, like I wanna give back, any way that I can, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so what's one piece of advice you'd give someone trying to break into the music industry right now?
Honestly, at the end of the day, just have fun. Um, I think a lot of people take it way too serious, not only in the aspect of like again making art and stuff like that, because again trying to think of perfection and being like oh man it doesn't sound perfect, it's never going to sound perfect, but it's going to sound like you at the end of the day, and that's really all that matters. So and that's basically like every song that I make, it's like okay, does this sound like me, does this really represent me, is this who I am? And if I can say yes, then it's like boom, the song's done. But I would just say like just have fun with it. There's so many people that, they're like, "Oh, I need the best equipment and I need the best this and the best that." And it's like, "No, just start. We all start somewhere." And I think that's another big thing too of like why I don't look at numbers and I don't look at like follower counts or anything like that is because it's like at one point it was like, "Hey, I was right where you were." I was right where you were I was starting and stuff like that. So, and I give everybody like an opportunity. Don't judge book by covers type of stuff, and we're all here as a community just to have fun and make art at the end of the day. So yeah, I would say if you're really having that second thought about being like, man, should I really do music? Should I really put that song out? Yeah, just do it. That's the only way that you're gonna grow anyways as well. A lot of people too with the whole ego thing, they'll get a bad comment, for example, being like, "Oh, the auto tune was way too much on here." and then they'll just be like, "Oh, well, fuck you, no, it's not." Da, da, da. No, just take that into consideration on your next song. Be like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna use less auto tune, and then, see how that goes." I feel like a lot of people, even like what people would call like hate comments, now if you're being, being like, "Oh, fuck you, you suck," that's not criticism. But if
Yeah.
somebody's just being like, "Hey, the song sounds great, but try this next time," they want to see you succeed. Those types of people want to see
Corrective.
you help you. Yeah,
Corrective criticism.
right.
Now you got these trolls these days, man. Get all the hate messages and stuff like that.
Fuck a troll. I will
Yeah.
body slam a fucking troll.
Don't even pay no attention to them, man. But yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. You know, you just never give up too. You know,
Facts.
never give up. So
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things too, and I had an issue with this as well, was like the whole age thing. Cause like I started music, like I said, I'm 26, so I started music when I was 23, and I'm just kind of like, damn, like, am I starting too late? Am I doing this too late? Am I doing that too late? And like at the end of the day, it's never too late to start. Like
yeah,
again, you're always gonna have those again, the trolls and the haters being like, "Oh, look at Unc over here trying to, do whatever." But it's like it doesn't matter, bro. Like if people mess with you and people support you, the supporters are gonna be there at the end of the day. The trolls just want to get a rise out of you, but as long as you're having fun and you're creating what you want to create, then that's all that matters.
You know what I mean? Live from the nursing home. Freestyle Friday.
Damn right. In front of
Dicks
all
out
the
for
other people.
Harambe.
uh, put your
Dicks out
balls
for
up, Reggie.
Harambe. I got mashed
Kings in
potatoes.
there.
Mashed potatoes and hot beats. Let's go.
Yeah. No, Reggie, you have any questions for him?
No, like I said, I was genuinely surprised when I heard the music. I hadn't heard of you till I saw Zach posting some of your stuff. I've been internet friends with Zach for a while, been a fan of his for a while. So when I clicked on it, I was like, oh shit, it was mind blowing actually to hear like a random song be that good as Big Deal.
Mhm.
And then when I started listening to the other records, I was like, oh damn, dude really got something going on. So
Yep.
again, I was glad
Thank
to
you.
hear that you were like a down to earth normal person.
Yeah, that was a
Who's
plus.
Yeah, who's actually focused on putting out good music and trying to do the right thing at the same time. So that's
Oh
a,
yeah.
a big difference from a lot of the stuff you hear out and about. But like you had said, it's come more full circle in the past couple years to where there's more quality music coming out, I think.
For sure.
So I think you'll definitely fit right in there somewhere.
Nah, I appreciate
And
that so much.
another thing is that before Zach, all right, but even before like Zach came on the show, um, I didn't know anything about Zach. I didn't know nothing about Crimson Crimson Red.
Hmm.
Um, if it wasn't for this show, man, like there's guys in this area, people in this area that has never heard of y'all's music, and just because of this show, there's people now that's listening to y'all's albums. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that just goes to show you, just by talking with someone, like your music can spread. And that's what I love about it. I may not be the biggest podcaster out there. I might not be the most entertaining show. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy what I do, just like you
Yeah.
enjoy your music,
And that's all that
and
matters.
it also benefits you and like us. So like people's never heard of me over there, but that's what I like to see though, is that like your music is spreading somewhere that's never been. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
spreading the love. Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy to do. That right there at the end of the day, I would call that my success. You know what I'm saying? That's spreading good music to people that's not familiar with it.
Nah, and I
Oh damn,
appreciate you.
we got a couple comments. Samuel Jackson didn't get his first big role till he was 40, so you got time, bro.
Back. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to like music, acting, whatever, age is just a number, man. Like you never like your time will come. You just gotta keep grinding and stuff like that. And that's something that I appreciate too about you is like, you know, you have your stuff on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook and stuff like that. And that's another big thing that I would say to like artists as well is like don't be afraid to just put your music everywhere. Like when I first started, I talked to this one guy who we'll just say like he was definitely ego ridden and he was just like, "Oh, I'd never put my stuff on SoundCloud. I'm too like established for that and stuff like that." And I'm like in my head, I'm like, "You never know who's going to hear your music." Because
That's exactly right.
a lot of people will just see numbers and they're like, "Oh, you know, I have 100 people. That's not a lot." But it's like you never know who's actually looking at your stuff, you know?
It
You
takes
know,
that one person, man. That
right.
one person.
Yeah. So it's like for me, I always tell people put it everywhere, you know, any way that you can spread your message, share your message, whatever. All platforms definitely do it and respect every single new person and every single new fan that you get cuz you never know who they are and you know what can come from it.
That is for sure. You have a request though, there, Crimson Red.
Mm.
They want us to play another one of your songs.
More songs.
Look from Fly. He said play another song, guys.
It's the bomb in the vape, bruh. The bomb.
Honestly, I would say, you know what, if you want to play Crazy, that was the second song I ever made, and even to this day, at least on Spotify, it has the most streams on it. So that's usually like it's another more rap one, but a lot of people also fuck with that one.
Oh, 1 second. We are.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah.
I told you, bro.
just.
You can't be playing them pornos in the background.
Oh, dude. Like it.
Taken down from YouTube.
Oh, I'll
You watch
screen
those
share
movies on your own time, boy.
screen share the porno.
Yeah.
No, it. Yeah, you know how the internet is these days, man.
We went from music categories to so what's your favorite category on the hub? It's like it's like this is a crazy 180.
Oh,
Shout
okay.
out to the big bitches.
Uh,
Oh shit.
oh yeah. Hi, man. So crazy.
It's a banger right here.
Yeah. Whoa. Let's go. Whoa. Let's go. Whoa. About to go 2 for 2. Let's go. Let's go. I said I'll make it out the hood, and they call me crazy, yeah. Said I dropped their favorite song, and they call me crazy, yeah. Staying up until it's dawn, yeah, I guess I'm crazy, yeah. Doing what I want, and you know it is amazing. Regular pop. Yeah, so when's the next drop? Saying it's now, you ready to rock? Live for the moment, no need for a clock. Murder these beats, surrounding with chop. This is my moment, I'm playing the stop. Damn, first time I heard this beat, I knew that I could make it hot. Cause keep on making music till I can't do this shit anymore. Best believe lest you forgot that I am only 24. Saying that my time is up, I'll tell you I got plenty more. Rockstar any show, I got that vibe just like it's Paramore.
Not the Paramore.
This is just the start. Something crazy. Yeah, TikTok, cause you know I can teach them how to dance. And when I walk, I make sure my aura is enhanced. Let's go, baby, killing it, asking me how. Knowledge is secret and that shit is sound. I look to the future, can't let myself down. They do in the past when I'm in the now. I said I'll make it out the hood, and they call me crazy, yeah. Said I dropped their favorite song, and they call me crazy, yeah. Staying up until it's dawn, yeah, I guess I'm crazy, yeah. Doing what I want, and you know it is amazing. You in a cave, you wanna see crazy. Yo, I'm about to go crazy, bruh. Let's go, man. Yeah. Go crazy, go crazy, go crazy. They wanted a feature but can't even pay me. I feel like an outsider just like I'm crazy. I told you I'm crazy, no way you can take me. My spot is forever, your only endeavor. Impact on the scale, tell me how do you measure? I know that it's hard when you put it together, but I am the future, that is no one better. Oh, wait, did Ray say that speech? So heat that he might need a tic tattoo. Your breath if we ran on the same path, feel like a movie, cause I got my space back sending 1,000. You know it's a lifestyle, touch with digital. I need mad black, I ain't too focused, there's no way to relax. Area, they gave me my 100 backpack. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
No, that one was fire, bro.
Are you gaining fans over here, man?
Nah, thank you to everyone that is coming out and watching. Real. That's like my fun little party trick that I like to do at shows. I didn't do it for the show with me and Zach, but I like to cut off the beat or cut off the vocal track, and I'll do like the fast rapping part and stuff like that. People love that shit.
Yeah, it's
Hell
dope. You flip from like the melody to just spitting crazy shit. That's fire.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Ethan. He's the one that made the beat. Um, he even too. He was just like he was a little hesitant at first because he was just like I wanted to buy the beat exclusively, and he's just like like I only usually sell to people that'll actually put fire stuff out. And then once the song was done, I was like, well, hopefully this sounds good to you, bro, and like hopefully I can actually buy the beat. And then he sent me the Cash App link right afterwards. I was like, all right, cool, we in. I was like, we're locked in.
That's
Hell yeah.
dope.
Yeah, you had one looked like he was wanting to come through the screen. Hell yeah. No, but yeah, it's definitely none of this would have been possible, if you wouldn't have accepted, the podcast or come to the podcast. A lot of people from say different states, you don't get to experience other people's, music. Like like we were talking about behind the scenes, is that YouTube's algorithm is so like I'd say crazy. A lot of people don't get to hear some of this stuff, man. And like it's awesome, dude. And I'm glad that you're out there doing it. You and Zach.
It's crazy to think about because usually I ask people like, so how did you hear about me or whatever. And me and Zach were on a phone call the one time, and he's like, yeah, I was just listening to music on Spotify, and your song came up, Dream. He's like, and then that's what made me hit you up. And I was like, sometimes algorithm does work. Sometimes it's actually doing its thing. But yeah, I think that's what's cool about like the internet. Like there's some positive, there's some negatives and stuff like that, but it really like for example, right now we're each on like different time zones and different areas and stuff like that, but we can come together and just shoot the shit
Yep.
on a podcast, and that's awesome.
Got you a comment there. Yeah, bro, that's what's up. Like that big time by Fly.
Thank you, Fly.
Damn, developing new fans every day.
I'm
My
telling you,
boy
dude.
Fly.
And then you got Mike up there and a metalhead turning hip hop and rap.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Me and Mike, we got that heavy metal background, but I gotta pull them into different genres as well.
Gotta be open to new shit, you know.
Exactly.
No, but see. Um, so now we introduced a lot of the people down in Louisiana and Colorado, Michigan. I have friends that watch it. Arizona. Uh, Crimson, could you also, while we're on the podcast, let people know where other than Spotify can they find your music?
Basically anywhere that you can stream music. So we got YouTube, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Trying to think what else. The Amazon, Deezer. Um, and then kind of to keep up with me, like for news and stuff like that, especially like I said with the album, at Real Crimson Red everywhere on socials. So like Instagram, X as they call it now, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Just to keep up to date with me and anytime I drop or any updates on the album.
Yeah, yeah.
You said it was at Real Crimson Red.
Yeah.
Drop that in the chat. All right, sick.
Got my behind the scenes producer that's on the screen.
Man, coming in clutch.
Yeah, filling in. I'm gonna have some words with disease.
Yeah, he's slacking. He texted me like a little while ago.
Oh, calling out. How you gonna call out?
I won't be in today.
Like we're like 45 minutes in the show and I'm calling out.
Yeah.
Nah, that's when I text him back, be like, no worries, you've been replaced though.
Reggie's doing a fine job.
Damn. You know, multitasking and shit. I got two hands. Hit the vape with one hand and pour a drink with the other, you know. Nothing crazy.
It's on the screen, guys, at Real Crimson Red.
Yeah, go follow. Go play that music, man. Stream that shit up.
Yeah, and like I said,
Sure.
I got no issue. If you guys ever want to talk or anything like that, ask more questions off stream or anything like that. Like I said, I'm really open to that kind of stuff. So don't be afraid to hit me up.
Dude, you know what we need to do is get you and Zach together. Not
Hell
both
yeah.
of you. Hell yeah. You talk about one hell of a show then, son. We'll just have a mix it up, dude.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Well, when he told me about you and he's like, yeah, like talk to him, reach out to him and stuff like that, I was like, I know Zach can talk a lot because like when we're on the phone, we can be on the phone for like hours and whatnot. And I said to him, I was like, as long as he's cool with me, I'm like, I'm a talker. I was like,
Yeah.
so he's like, oh yeah, he's like, honestly, that would be good. And I was like, all right, cool. So, we're like an hour and a half into this. Me and him, we be here for the whole day. We might have to plan out a whole day type of thing.
I actually normally we run a little longer, don't we, Bobby?
Dude.
But
Yeah.
I decided not to drink today, so
yeah. No. So normally when we're doing it, like we're not like if we're just doing a BSing show, and there's like like 5 of us on here. Now we'll sit and drink, and then see where the show goes. Okay, and you can about imagine how it ends.
Oh yeah.
But stuff like this, a little more serious. Kind of share your information. It's energy drinks. So nobody. Yeah,
yeah, we got the W on
nobody
deck.
needs us. Nobody needs me slurring and Reggie falling out the chair.
That was last time. Okay.
That was last episode.
Yeah.
He was hanging in by a thread.
Yeah.
Nah,
it
as
was
soon as I
rough.
saw your name and I saw BSN, I was like, I know this is gonna be good, and we're gonna have a good time. I was like, so.
Hell yeah, man. And just for shits and giggles, like, we need to get together, lay it like down the road, get Zach on and get a few of us Like I'll get some guys from Arizona, like get it reaching out, man. You
Hell
know,
yeah.
so and I mean it's always great to bullshit, you know.
Nah, yeah. Like I think that's the most fun part about it is it's like, you know, like talking about music, talking about that kind of stuff, but also getting to know each other and just kind of have a good time while doing it, you know?
Hell yeah.
You know?
But yeah, Reggie, you got anything else?
No, that was actually all I had prepared and shit. But again, I'll keep saying it. Like I was super surprised with the quality and the effort you were putting into the music, man. And again, I look forward to hearing the album. You know what I'm saying? My subwoofers are looking forward to the album.
Yeah,
They rubbing their
coming out
hands
in
together.
August.
Yeah, yeah, bang bang, bitch. Let's
And guys,
go.
if you're just tuning in, like towards the end, he's got an album, 18 songs, going to be out in August. So look forward to that.
Yeah,
So
I'll have like an official date. I'll probably say next month.
So you
when
better follow him at Real Crimson Red to
Yeah.
keep up with the drop
Keep up with
date.
that shit.
and then whenever I see that drop date, I'm gonna go ahead and share that too. So if you're not following, you'll soon be following if you hear his music. But well, Crimson, if you don't have anything further, man, we can go ahead and start closing her down. And
Nah, I was just gonna
you good?
say, thank you guys for having me out here. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and stuff like that. And you know, keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, if you ever want to start doing that stuff, just do it. Just take that step forward, and you got it.
Never quit. Never
Never
Oh
quit.
quit.
yeah.
Never ever.
I just wanna shout out all the BBWs and
uh,
everybody in jail. You know what I mean? That didn't do it. Free you.
so, so what? With that being said, thank you for tuning in with BSing with Y Eagle Y, and look forward to our next up and coming podcast. And later down the road, we can maybe get Crimson and Zach back on here, and we'll really have this thing fired up. You know, with all of us, you know, spreading the love. But until then, thank you for tuning in. All right, man.